Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to say hello to everybody in chat. X amount of words. Hello. Thanks for being here. Pink Dahlia, I really appreciate you being here. KF, so many people that I recognize, and I'm just so happy you're here. Hi, Johnny and Nabi, Mike, Tiffany. So, pretty much this is another one of my live streams regarding the Kurt Cobain death investigation. If you haven't checked out my playlist and some of our other live streams on this topic, please do so. We've got really good information and feedback from chat in those live streams, as well as some small videos that I've put together as well. Hi, Andrea. So I'm just a little bit, I want to make sure I get, hi, Alex. I want to make sure I get, everything mentally prepared for this because I've had sort of a long day. My Nana, actually, we just found out that she passed away, but I figured I had to go and do this live still. I don't want to cancel it. You guys really keep my mind off of other things. And, she lived a very long life. It was unexpected, a heart attack, but she was in her late 80s, so that's what we're thankful for is she had a long life. So I went from having COVID and kind of being exhausted, and then I got that news last night, and I was kind of tossing and turning and just hoping she'd pull through. But I'm just really glad that you guys are all here with me. And hi, CDT and Kelly searches equals answers. I really appreciate you guys being here, and thank you for your condolences, Rosie and everyone. You guys, I really look forward to doing these live streams so I can talk with you guys. And like I said, it just keeps my mind off of things going on. And yeah, this is an important topic for me. This is an important case for me. Um, it is obviously a case that is not reopened, but it needs to be reopened. Thank you, B. And so yeah, we just everyone in the Kurt Cobain community wants this case reopened. We want the pictures from the death scene, all of them. There's a lot of stuff that we're just lacking. And unfortunately, without things being reopened and the verdict of, his cause of death and manner being overturned, we kind of, as a community, have to kind of press on, even without, the legal stuff happening, like as far as authorities reopening the case and stuff. But, it's something that I'm just going to keep talking about. And, it's not going to die just because they're not reopening it. We're going to keep pressing on. And hi, Vicky. Yeah, we need it independently opened without FBI even. We don't, we can't trust them, and we can't trust the Seattle Police Department, that's for sure. Hi, Crazy Crime Chick. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I lost 3 of my 4 grandparents in the last 6 months, guys. It's crazy. It's like a whole chapter of my life is almost, in a way, it's closed. But so thank you, KF. I appreciate that. So pretty much, as I go through all this footage of Courtney Love, and, we have literally at this point decades of interviews with her. It's just some things kind of stick out when you keep watching the same person over and over, and you're like, why do they keep saying the same narrative over and over? So this live stream is pretty much, as you saw, is Courtney Love psychic or psycho? In my opinion, so far, I believe that she's a sociopath. I think that a lot of it was conditioned, and she is the way she is because of her upbringing, which I will be, kind of laying out and showing everyone. And in my research of just her in general, that's where I come up with these like clips that I've stumbled on, and it just like sticks out. The same trend and same narrative over and over for decades she's been trying to put out there to the media. And right now, there is a lawsuit against Courtney Love by her ex-son-in-law, and I did a live stream on it, and other people have covered this case. It's Isaiah Silva versus Courtney Love and a bunch of other people that, are her minions pretty much. So sorry, I'm just looking at chat. Yeah, be 3 and 6 months. They were all, like I said earlier, in their late 80s. So, at least I can be happy that they lived a long life, but it's just been like, wow. Um, so, there's just these trends that keep popping out, and that's what I'm pretty much going to lay out with you guys tonight. And of course, I want feedback from you guys in chat and your opinions on this. But anyway, so her ex-son-in-law is suing her, and we go through this in other live streams too. So he is pretty much saying that she attempted murder on him and kidnapping. And there was supposed to be an update in January, which I was hoping I could bring back to you guys, but I think that they've stalled it a little bit longer. So lucky for Courtney, she's, still, thinking she's safe and all that. But okay, so let's get into what I'm trying to present here. And you know what sucks is like I used to love her music and Smashing Pumpkins, like before I knew everything that was going on, like behind closed doors and all that, like with these people and stuff. It's like it's just interesting because I like the music, and it's really disheartening knowing the people behind it. So how can I even start? All right. So Live Through This was the record that Courtney Love's band put out in 94. And as everyone knows, Kurt died in April 94, right? This record went out, I believe, the week or two after he died, and it was like set to be released, obviously before his alleged self-harming. I'm gonna try not to say, the triggering words that YouTube hates. So when Courtney was, putting this album together, it was obviously, as everyone knows, you write a song and you write music and you write an album, and it takes time. So all this stuff was written before Kurt passed in April 94. Okay. So we're going to go through like a little bit of a timeline in the clips. And I've tried to arrange them, from 94, 95, and then up and up and up. So when somebody says something like, oh, I lived through this, live through this, it just sort of, that phrase alone kind of like lets you know, like, if you go through a hard time, you live through this. It's just think about those words. So the lyrics for Miss World, and this is off a really good website that I've always used. It's Genius, and it just kind of breaks down the lyrics and stuff for you. Let me just look at chat real quick, see how you guys are doing. All right, so you guys are following. Okay, cool. And yes, I heard Miss World, I heard Live Through This had a lot of input from Kurt. That's probably why I liked the album so much, because it wasn't, Courtney really. Hi, Lindy. Yes, thanks for being here. Okay. So we're going to break down the song before we get into the clips. So these lyrics: she is the girl who can't look you in the eye, possibly out of shame due to stigmas attached. So this is just pretty much breaking down what this song means, okay? And again, this was all written before Kurt died. Stigmas attached to her image as she is scrutinized under the eyes of the media. She has no idea what you may have heard about her and dreads that the person looking at her may know pieces of her past she would rather not remember, as it is now haunting her in efforts to escape from it. She may be avoiding eye contact out of insecurity as well, and may feel as if she is not worthy enough to be looked upon, as she is not come to grips with her self-image. Characteristic of most beauty pageant contestants, the more she is looked upon, the more insecure she may feel, as she grows more and more self-aware and ultimately less secure within herself, as she reaches for minutes flaws that would make her unworthy of being, quote, Miss World, if discovered by anyone. So it's sort of it's painting a picture of an insecure and unsure person. And then we go to the next one. It just kind of breaks it down. Let me get to the good stuff. Okay, so she, as Miss World, is the girl next door, the girl whom everyone has grown to know and love or hate. She feels as if everyone knows what the media wants them to know of her, and relying on the media's discretion to convey who she really is has not been successful. They do not know who lies behind the mask, and she feels as if the media paints her in two extremes. Now remember, the media, it was something that Kurt himself sort of battled with. They didn't like the press and, lies and stuff like that took place when they were famous. So it's just kind of like painting this whole like, oh, I mean, just look at this picture. Of course, this right here says after Kurt Cobain, but it's supposed to paint like a very like, it's a tumultuous world for this person. Okay, I am the girl, I lie and lie and lie. Miss World lies about being happy and acts positive on the outside, which again, Courtney and other people have tried to say that's, what Kurt was doing. So this song is just kind of like, is this about Courtney? Or, it's almost like it's already painting like a narrative of, somebody who's in the limelight and can't trust the media, and, they're unsure, they're insecure. And everyone thought for some reason that that's the way that Kurt was. So it's sort of weird that, this song is portraying that, but, from a female perspective. Is this making sense, guys? I mean, I know I'm just reading the lyrics so far, but is everyone on board so far? Okay. Love has been multiple times accused of lying. Yeah. Even by close friends. In general, everyone accuses her of being a mask, and no one can ever know the truth from her. This might be her finally confessing, or just being tired of trying to contrast this misconception. Essentially, she's given in to the image of the liar that everyone has painted her as, because she knows she can't change their mind. People will believe what they want to believe. So we get to the chorus part that I'm sure everybody knows, which I'm not going to play because copyright. And actually, we'll hear a little bit in the background of the clips. So I'm sure I'll get copyright strike anyways. But okay, so love is referring to Miss America competition and beauty pageants in general. The conception of beauty is a reoccurring theme in this album. The narrator is also stating that being the winner of this Miss World pageant is a lot of pressure, and she wishes to be dead. So again, this song, is talking about almost, you could say, fame and being in it. It's just too much pressure. And this person, Miss World, wishes she was dead. So it gets to kill me pills. No one cares. My friends, my friends. This line is inspired by and also of reference to American poet Anne Sexton, who, after overdosing on barbiturates and pentobarbital, called the drugs kill me pills. This also means Miss World wants to kill herself because she is so insecure and lonely. So, interesting. A year before her husband harms himself and dies, she's writing this song and composing this music and putting this album together that has, this theme, overdosing on barbiturates, kill me pills. Again, this song was written before Kurt passes. Okay. It gets hairier. So this other chorus, and everyone knows when they hear it. I've made my bed, I'll lie in it. I've made my bed, I'll die in it. I've made my bed, I'll lie in it. I've made my bed, I'll die in it. So, sounds pretty, self-explanatory. However, the one thing that a lot of people don't know is their bassist, Kristen Pfaff. She actually was the one that added this little bit of chorus in here. And it says, Kristen brought these lines from the song Limited Edition she had written earlier in her career with Janitor Joe, which was a band that she was in before Hole. The expression, you've made your bed, now lie in it, means that one should be held responsible for the choices they make in their life. Love is assuming a resigned tone in the chorus, realizing and accepting that all her pain is nothing but a product of her own actions. She knew from the beginning that people can and will be cruel. She was literally brought up that way, but she still wanted to be a rock star, a dream she fought very hard for, and now the fame has led her to be scorned and heavily criticized by people who don't even know her personally. So I think that the main thing that I want people to kind of take from this is that these lyrics here were added to the song by Kristen. And people might wonder, who haven't seen our other videos, like, what is the connection with Kristen? Well, Kristen, their bassist. Thank you for being a member for 7 months, Amanda. Thank you. Hey, Amber. I made the live. Yay. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so yeah, I think they definitely wrote a lot of the lyrics on this album, B. All right, so Kristen is the bassist who was in Courtney's band. And allegedly, again, you can check this out in other videos that I've done, specifically the documentary I did of Kurt and Courtney pretty much talks about how Kurt gave Kristen, a copy of his favorite book, Perfume, and that during band practice, there was this huge, argument. And pretty much Courtney accused Kristen of making eyes at Kurt. So that is significant. Let me just share my screen again. To me, that's significant when you see like the clips that I'm going to show. It's pretty much the last clip. And these clips are quick. So I'm going to be pausing and kind of talking through them. But for her to add the input that she did in the song, I'm going to tie it in as soon as I start playing this for you guys. I added this little clip because I just think it's interesting. David Grohl's opinion of her, and Howard Stern's pretty much addressing it. And this actually was a episode in the early 2000s. So I'm just kind of starting there because I like this clip. And then we're going to go back to 94.
And you are talking with the other guys now. David Grohl called you a blood-sucking vampire. Are you going to let him off the are you going to let him off the hook for that? What did I call?
So, I mean, over time, Dave Grohl has called her a blood-sucking vampire. I mean, that's quite the description and opinion of somebody, I think. Yes, Nirvana is just as relevant now as they were in the 90s. I agree. All right, so as you see here, this is Hole. And this is before Kristen died of her overdose. And mind you, she died few months. Kurt was April. I believe hers was June or May. Very, very close after Kurt. And this is rumors, but apparently when her diary was discovered, pages were ripped out. And the pages in Kristen's diary that were ripped out were around the time that Kurt passed. And she was found in a bathtub after she OD'd, but people believe it's suspicious because she had just, gotten better and was ready to leave Hole and leave Courtney and go back to her other band, Janitor Joe. And pretty much she never got to that. And you'll see, like in these interviews that I'll show you and in the future clips and stuff that I show you, Kristen is never mentioned by Courtney. She's never talking about the time they worked together and the music they came up with. And, she just never gives her the props, it's just very kind of like weird. It's weird. You would think that she would have, they would have honored her, and she literally is just she never mentions her. It's just like, it's almost like purposely done. It's something that like Courtney doesn't seem to ever really want to like talk about or go towards. Yeah, Hollow Waters knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it is weird. She was clean and living in Seattle, B said, and had said often that Courtney was insane. Yeah, there's interviews before she left the band, and Courtney is just kind of leading the interviews, and Kristen just looks, kind of, you could just tell they didn't have like a friendship or like chemistry that came natural.
Weary and didn't feel like
it was a terrible thing. Yeah, I mean, this great record comes out and then all this
Like, I'm
awful
not
stuff.
psychic.
Okay, here we go. So here is her first interview, I believe, and it was with MTV. This is September, the same year Kurt died. He died in April, like I said. Courtney looking very thin, a lot thinner than she was when she was with Kurt. I don't know if it's drugs, stress, all of them, not sure. But they're just kind of talking about the record, which I added up in the picture. And this is just the beginning of MTV's relationship with Courtney that I've noticed that is very, I don't know, I understand why Howard Stern kind of dragged on their relationship and friendship, because Courtney brings excitement, and, Howard being a live show, it's kind of like, oh, wow, what is she going to say or do next? She's a great guest for him, and was for years. People think that Howard was like a pig and this and that with her and other people. I mean, that's debatable, but specifically with Courtney, I think that he kept her comfortable for his benefit, like, for the views and for good radio. But it's interesting because as he's kind of like trolling her in real life, like to keep her on his show, like she doesn't realize that like he's just kind of like using her for entertainment. She also uses Howard and MTV to kind of have like a microphone, like she puts out a narrative over and over. Yes, hi, Mrs. Kurt Cobain, I'm glad you made it, I haven't seen you in a while. She said this interview bothered me. Yeah, it's just so fake, it's just so forced and like this is before she gets into acting. Well, no, she did other acting before she was even. Oh, it's crazy when you watch her life. It's just like, wow, like one fate. She's so many different personalities. But yeah, she is very much acting in this interview as well as many others. I totally agree. It's just kind of like, ugh, it's cringe to watch. Just reading some chats. Yeah, a lot of people. I honestly, I share a lot of the Kurt stuff in my Facebook groups for true crime, and a lot of people are on board with the idea that he didn't harm himself. Thank you, Crazy Crime Chick. Hi, Honest Rage. Thanks for being here. And Delaney, hello. Okay. Let's focus. So this is 94, like I said. All right. They're talking about the album, you know, the lyrics we just went through. Keep that in mind.
Terrible thing. Yeah.
We're in it and didn't feel like
It was a terrible thing. Yeah. I mean, this great record comes out and then all this.
Like, oh, I'm
awful
not
stuff comes
psychic,
around.
but my lyrics are.
Yeah.
You know, and
So Kurt's like, you know, it's just this terrible thing because at this point, Kurt has passed and their bassist, Kristen. And she's talking about how the records, you know, that she's still going to go on tour. But she, you know, she's very, you know, upset and she's trying to act all like solemn here. Like, yeah, you know, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. And like the way she just like said it, didn't it sound like she had it planned before they even started the camera? Like this guy's like, yeah, it was just this terrible thing. First off, I can't stand Kurt Loder. I think he used her too for his career and vice versa. I think that he's a puppet for this narrative that Kurt harmed himself and Courtney's just, you know, this widow who's devastated. It benefited Kurt Loder because he got all this attention from covering, you know, Kurt's death. Anyways, that's besides the point. So she's just like, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. Interesting. And, you know, you might not have even like thought twice about it, but just knowing how manipulative this woman is, it just seems so purposely placed there, in my opinion.
oh, I'm
Awful
not
stuff comes
psychic, but
around.
my lyrics are.
Yeah.
You know, and now, you know, it's, I mean, people go back to work.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I got to make a living, and I think I do a pretty good job.
So here, you know, people go back to work. I got to make a living. Why does she have to make a living? I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that, you know, she doesn't have to work because she's got Kurt's money. But at the same time, like her kind of portraying this, like, you know, I got to go back to work. I got to make a living. It's like, it's just not really real in the same sense because it's like, you don't really have to though, but you chose to. So her husband and her bassist pass away and she's just pretty much saying, I'm sorry, hang on. I'm just looking at something in chat. Yes, Honest Rage. I agree. Yeah, using the musician's death for views. And it's like obviously he's a journalist and all that, but at the same time, what I didn't like was the fact that years after Kurt Loder put out some information about Kurt's death, it easily could have been looked up and debunked. You know what I mean? Like, for example, and they go through this in the documentary Soaked in Bleach. If anyone hasn't seen it, please watch it. You know, for example, Courtney told Kurt Loder that Kurt's family had a history of suicides. All Kurt Loder had to do was kind of look into it, you know, and come to find out that wasn't even true. His uncle died of an accidental gunshot. And, you know, it was actually proven that, like, no, actually, there was no history of suicides in Kurt's death. So it was just irresponsible reporting and journalism on Kurt Loder's part, but it benefited him, you know? All right, let me get back. So anyways, pretty much she's just kind of playing the card like, I have to go back. But when in reality, it's kind of like weird that she went and toured and really pressed for her album to be put out there. And it's like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, maybe you should have rested, it's just, to me, I guess people do weird things when they grieve, but you would think that maybe she would have taken some time off. And, with the baby being the year that she was, or, a little over a year, there's an article in 94 in Rolling Stone where Courtney Love is saying that Frances Bean would call out Dada in the crib, and it freaked her words, it freaked her out. So if it's to the point where, like, you're freaked out because you're realizing that your 18-month-old baby has realized, like, Dada's not coming, maybe you should take time off and not go on this tour. Your bassist just passed away. Billy Corgan was the one that helped her replace their bassist. So it's just all very sketchy and just not normal and not right, in my opinion.
Job at it, and I got to go back to work. I mean, it's what I do.
Well, no one's going to hold this against you. I don't think that you're right.
I think they do. I mean, I think that it's expected that I should go close the drapes and shoot drugs or something for,
And see how extreme she sort of like takes it. He says, well, nobody's going to hold that against you, like about her going to tour and carrying on. And they probably expect me to, close the drapes and shoot drugs. Nobody would really expect that. But for you to kind of just carry on and replace your bassist who passed away, it's kind of, to me, it is sort of strange. But yet she kind of exaggerates, like, well, this is what people want of me, but I'm not going to do that. It's like, nobody wants that of you. But it just seemed like, even with the pictures of her, she was with men immediately after Kurt passed away, and that's been proven.
in 5 years, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I have a baby, I have to make a living, and it's the one time I feel really good.
Yeah.
Is the last couple. I've played 5 times now, and that's basically, other than certain times with my daughter, been the high points.
Sometimes.
So she's saying, being on tour has made her feel, better. And then all of a sudden she says, oh, and, there's certain times with my daughter. It's like Frances just thrown in there as like an afterthought. Yeah, she is cold-hearted. Everyone's saying cold in chat. Holly, no one exactly expects her to do that, but that's her reputation, so that's her fault. Right. Right, exactly, Rosie. Like, no one's expecting you to close the blinds and shoot drugs, but I don't know. It just seemed like Frances there was sort of like an afterthought. Like, oh yeah, and I was happy with her as well, but I'm really happy on tour. Like, she's just, a narcissist who wanted to carry on with her own career and ride this out as like, Kurt Cobain's widow as long as she could. It was just convenient for her still. So that's why she didn't stop.
When you're toying with visuals or names or whatever, they sometimes can act as a lightning rod.
That's self-fulfilling.
Thank you. There might be another way of putting it, bad karma, good karma kind of thing.
Okay, so this says 94. I think I accidentally dragged that. See how it says like 91, 94, like the other clip? This was 95. Okay, so this is chronologically after the one we just did. Actually, she's looked like she put some meat back on her bones, so that's good. But this is 95. And this guy is kind of starting off with talking about like self-fulfilling type things, right?
Lightning rod.
That's self-fulfilling.
Thank you. There might be another way of putting it, bad karma, good karma kind of thing.
Well, I had a relationship with somebody, and he wrote a song, and every time I hear that song, he wrote it before me, but
So as you hear, they're playing the music from the album that, you know, is in the corner there. And he's talking about sometimes things are, you know, you see them ahead of time. And she says self-fulfilling. Hi, Sugar Aunt, I didn't see you. And she says, I dated this guy. First off, if anybody knows Courtney, she never has any problem name dropping. So the fact that this guy doesn't have a name, you know, one time I dated this guy who, you know, it's just like, to me, right off the bat, doesn't seem genuine. I just feel like she's lying here, you know, because normally she has no problem dropping names of guys she dated in the past and stuff. Hold on, gets better.
he wrote a song, and every time I hear that song, he wrote it before me, but every time.
See, he wrote it before me. So she's already kind of leading it to like, okay, this guy I used to date, he wrote this song, and she's got to reiterate before me, so that you're already thinking like, okay, so this is sort of like she was just, they started the conversation out about self-fulfillment and pretty much psychic type talk.
When I hear that damn song, I just think that's our relationship, and it like makes me cry, even though it was before me. Sometimes
She says that's our relationship. It makes me cry, even though it was before me. What song? We don't know the guy. We don't know the song. It just seems like a made up story. But the whole thing that I'm trying to explain is it's just kind of to follow up her narrative of, you know, I can't help that I have this ability to kind of like, sometimes that happens, you know, you write a song and then later on you realize like, oh, wow, like that had more meaning than I thought it did because of what happened to me. That's the kind of vibe she's trying to like portray here.
I write songs, and I won't know quite who or what they're about. They'll just be channeled or whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, a year down the line or something, and they're like, Jesus, this is applicable, isn't it? And I'm up to this, you know, lyrically. If you look at like what happened in my life in the last year and a half,
you know, like lyrically, if you look at what's happened in the last year and a half of her life, and now here she goes with the narrative, like, yeah, you know, that sometimes those crazy things happen. Yeah, exactly, Pink Dahlia. I can't help that I'm a prophet. Exactly. Yeah, pretty much fair to say. She talks, she lies. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tammy, it's, I mean, even if it's conspiracy to commit murder, like I'm not here preaching and saying she pulled the trigger in Kurt's mouth, or I'm not saying she had something to do with Kristen's death, but at the same time, you know, she easily could be pulling the strings and the puppet master. I really see her as the puppet master. And again, I need to remind you guys, Charles Manson did not physically kill anybody. And he was in prison for the rest of his life after those crimes came out. You know, like people can be evil enough to not even do the dirty work themselves.
like, wow.
Just a week
Okay,
after Kurt's
so
death.
that was 94 and 95 we've gone through, right? So we have 2 interviews already of her kind of leading this narrative of like, yeah, you know, it's just these things happen. I dated a guy once, blah, 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 blah. You guys understand what I'm saying. Thank you, X amount of words. No problem. I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here, but this is just going to be a case that even if they don't reopen it, we're going to still kind of comb through it. And it's important to me to talk about. Yeah, exactly, Rosie. No, she didn't pull the trigger. She's way too smart and conniving for that. Right. She's got minions. Yeah, she no doubt got other people to do her dirty work, allegedly. She even talks about So her lawsuit with Isaiah, her ex-son-in-law, there's conversations between Courtney and Isaiah that are pretty much calling like her friend her pit bull. He's my pit bull. But why do you have pit bulls? Like they're just minions. It's just nonstop people who do stuff for her, and it's sick. Flying monkeys, Freebird said yes, exactly. Yeah, she was in rehab conveniently. Yeah, exactly. It's just she's got like a spot and an alibi and a place to be right when she needs that, you know? That's what's scary and premeditated about all this, which is what's almost this live stream is about, is these lyrics and, you know, that album titled Live Through This. You know, she titles an album Live Through This before she goes through all this stuff to live through. It's just, is this almost in a way premeditated, you know? So this is Behind the Music VH1 Whole. And this is after she dated Edward Norton. I don't know. I could not find the exact year. I think it's 2001, maybe. It's early 2000s because her and Norton, I believe, ended around 98, 99. And in this interview, she kind of talks about their breakup or whatever, from what I remember. So this is, you know, now it's been less than a decade, but still over time. And Courtney is still pushing this narrative of like, oh gosh, I just can't believe, you know, that was predicted that way.
Hole's major label debut, Live Through This, was released to near universal praise.
The album is called Live Through This.
Okay, so I just want to pause it.
Praise.
The album.
Okay. I wanted to pause it here because, you know, they show it so quick that I didn't even really notice it until recently, like right when I was editing this. And, you know, here's that quote with Kurt Loder. I feel really good. I've played 5 times now. And that's basically, other than certain times with my daughter, been the high points of this period of time. So they're saying it right in this title, proves prophetic. And it's like,
prophetic.
You know, we look it up. Accurately describing or predicting what will happen in the future. His warnings prove prophetic. Here is saying her lyrics in this album proves prophetic. And that's like another thing that I'm just like, MTV, and you know, this was put together by VH1. I think they're owned by the same people or something, MTV maybe. It's like, why do they want to keep pushing this narrative too with her that, you know, it's just it proves prophetic. Like they didn't have to put this in here years later in the Behind the Music, but for some reason they're going to scratch Courtney's back and kind of like, oh yeah, you know, we'll push that narrative with you. I don't know. There's just something sketchy going on with MTV and Courtney Love. And then we hear, you know, if anyone's ever seen Kurt and Courtney documentary, MTV like shut down like the funding for that. And that is like one of the first documentaries digging into Kurt's death, questioning the narrative that he harmed himself. So why is MTV deciding not to fund Kurt and Courtney, that documentary? You know, it's just like, why do they have this like relationship? And it's clearly for, you know, monetary reasons. You know, Courtney, like we said earlier about Howard Stern, she brings the views, she brings the excitement. People are going to tune in, and that's what it's about, you know, ultimately. And that's just the truth. But I just found it very interesting that they're still like pushing this, you know, psychic thing in the early 2000s for whatever reason. And thank you, Pink Dahlia. Thank you, Amber. Great coverage. Love to you and your family. Rest in peace, Nana. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, she is a nuisance because Courtney sues everyone. Yeah, they are just like, don't want to deal with the wrath of her. Who owned MTV then and who owns it now? I'm not sure, Squids. Yeah, I do too. Somebody said that he was going to be covering that soon, but I didn't know what they were talking about. Hold on, let me scroll back up. What is ASF covering soon? I can't find it in chat now. Hi, Roxanne. Oh, the Nick Broomfield documentary. Good. That I watched that for the first time on Netflix years ago. Oh my gosh, years ago. And it changed my life. I just remember like, wow, I cannot believe that all these years, like I thought that he did this and it actually seems like it didn't go that way. So, all right, let's proceed.
It was called Live Through This. How'd that happen? And the album's brilliant. And
So this lady was some sort of manager for them. I remember when I watched this, it had like her title underneath. So she's saying like the album's called Live Through This. I mean, how did that happen? Do you really want me to answer that? Because I can kind of give my opinion of how I think that happened.
To near universal praise.
the album is called Live Through This. How'd that happen? And the album's brilliant and important. And
The songs were an eerie window into Courtney's now very public pain.
The narrator. The songs were an eerie window. Yeah. Or maybe premeditated thoughts. Something's not right here. And it's like they just spin it as like, wow, can you believe it? You know, her pain at that time. Yeah, well, you know what? As I added background music to it so that it wouldn't get copyright maybe. So maybe that's why it sounds so gross. Sorry. Oh, thank you, Crazy Crime Chick. Thank you for covering so many cases. You truly do a great job. Thanks. I just, you know, the ones that I'm passionate about, we dig deep. You're the same way. And that's just it. That's how it is. Public pain, right? But yet remember that interview that we watched in 94, September, the first interview, you know, she's going back to work. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, I went back to work when somebody close to me passed, but I really had no choice. You know, I didn't have like a husband that just left millions to me. So her going back to work to me and will always be sort of strange. You know, it's to eat up the limelight.
it's like, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's very prescient because
Here we go again. So the first interview, Kurt Loder, he says something and she says, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. Now this is early 2000s. Face has changed a little bit. I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. Just the same thing. And it's like, you can see the duping delight. Watch those who know duping delight. And let me just pull up the definition. Duping delight, the pleasure of being able to manipulate someone, often made visible to others by flashing a smile at an inappropriate moment. So the narrator just got done talking about the lyrics, this album, an eerie window into the pain, her pain at that time. the pain, and yet watch her talk about, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. You just see her like with the duping delight on her face.
I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's very prescient.
Sorry, I was just clearing my throat. Okay, so do you guys understand what I'm saying though with the duping delight? I'm not. Why is the fact that your lyrics, portrayed something that ended up kind of happening close to you? This to me is just an inappropriate time to kind of be laughing and like smiling. She said it's very prescient, I think she said. I'll play it again, but I just want to look it up too. No, not president. Google. Did you mean? No. Okay, hold on.
Prescient because
Those were an eerie window into Courtney's now very public pain.
it's like I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's very prescient.
Prescient. Okay, yeah, Tiffany knows it. What does it mean? Having or showing knowledge of events before they take place. Oh, it's okay. So it's just another word for psychic. Really? Right, you're psychic. Yeah, apparently it is a word, May. I just looked it up. Here.
Prescient.
Prescient. Why did she change the sound of it?
Prescient. Prescient.
It's like she Googled other words for psychic and read it as prescient. Listen.
It's now very public pain.
It's like I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's very prescient because I'm really open and I allow like almost automatic writing to happen.
All right, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Strange. Rosie, she does that a lot where she'll say things that it like, oh, wow, she's just BSing, but it sounds smart. The problem is she is smart too. In my research, I mean, she comes from two very like smart parents too. Like, that's the problem. And I think that has like aided in her way to kind of escape authorities, I guess you could say, and being caught. She's done very well, with her maneuvering in life. She's savvy. Yes, she is crafty. Exactly. Yes, she's smart in a bad way. She's like a NK from The Mistress in the Watts case. Yes, she's a master manipulator. Absolutely. But I think, especially with the lawsuit her ex-son-in-law has going against her, I think her luck is under fire more than it ever has been. Yes, Mrs. Kurt Cobain agrees. She's very smart and very manipulative. She's her zodiac sign is Cancer, and it's the smartest sign allegedly in the zodiac. Yes. All right. So this clip, when is Courtney Love's birthday? I believe it is July 10th. And NK's is July 3rd. Oh, July 9th, 1964. Yeah, so hers is the 9th. I believe OJ Simpson's is the 9th. Yes. Okay, so OJ Simpson has the same birthday as Courtney Love. And so does, I want to say, Jody. Yes, Jody Arias, which, if people know true crime, they know Jody. So Jody, OJ. Oh my gosh, that is creepy. Jody, OJ, and Courtney Love have the same birthday. And MK, the mistress in the Watts case, for those who have followed us and myself, Crazy Crime Chick, and CDT in the Watts case, she's another puppet master manipulator that we've studied. Wow. That's crazy. Hi, Seth. Where's Seth? I saw somebody say hi to him. Hi, Seth. Oh, wow. Mrs. Kurt Cobain and CDT have the same birthday. Yes, Jody's is July. Yep. That's crazy. The 9th of July is cursed. Yeah, it really is. Same as OJ, explains a lot. Yeah, B, I'm telling you. And if you know Jody Arias, whew, that is some of the worst autopsy photos I've ever seen in my life. That lady. All right, so back to the Howard Stern clips. This one's the last one, guys, but it to me is significant. All right, so I was screen recording these, and you know how when you screen record, it like does like that countdown, 3, 2, 1. When I started this, it was like it cut off where she was like, I just got to wipe my nose, or something about wiping her nose. So if you guys find this was, I think 04. This was after, like I said, it's all chronological. So she's like talking about how she's got to wipe her nose. I don't know. It's weird, but you hear her say it again. Oh yeah, she's psycho. All right, so I'm going to be pausing it again. So
I just get the snot off.
I just got to get the snot off. And she's got her compact mirror. Hang on.
All right, we're ready to go.
Okay, I just get the snot off. Why is he playing a 9-year-old song?
A little intro.
I know. Hold on.
Okay, so you have to I've turned this up. You might have to turn it up. She says, I got to get this snot off my nose. And then she goes, why is he playing a 9-year-old song? And it's the background music is like Howard Stern has put on Miss World, the song we broke down in the beginning of this live stream, the song about someone cracking under pressure of fame and spotlight and the media harassing them, and they take barbiturates and their life themselves, So they're playing it as they're waiting for her to come out on camera. And she's like all pissed that they're playing that song. And remember, not only was that song about eerily similar ways of, death that her husband died from, but it's also those lyrics written by her old bandmate, Kristen. So it's sort of a touchy song to her for some reason, you can see here. And she's all pissed. I don't know this guy who works with Howard's name, but, he's always making the commentary too. But he's like, come on, let's go. And she goes, oh, why are they playing this? And he's like, oh, it's just a little bit of, like, he doesn't understand why she's mad, but like they're like used to her always being mad. So they probably aren't thinking twice about it. But I'm thinking twice about it.
little intro.
I know. Hold on.
And I've got your oranges.
I know, but snot's making me
Let
crazy.
me see.
Oh, the snot's
Bad.
making me
I mean, let's just
crazy.
pretend I'm gonna take credit. I'm coming.
Oh,
Help.
it's just a little intro.
I know, but snot's making me
Let
crazy.
me see. Let's see if it's okay.
It's bad. I'm just gonna get the snot off. Why is he playing a 9-year-old song?
Little intro.
I know. Hold on. I'm
And
coming.
I've got your oranges.
I know, but snot's making me crazy.
Let me see. Let's see if it's okay.
It's bad. I mean, let's just pretend I'm gonna take credit. I'm coming. Help.
No, it's okay. You got executive. Don't kill yourself.
I don't want them to play this song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go.
I don't want them playing this song. Blah, 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 blah. Couldn't hear what she was saying. Did you guys hear it? Hang on. I don't want them playing this song, and then I can't make out what she's saying because the guy's like, I know. You know, he's just like, come on, lady. But to me, it's like, wow. Honest Rage, did he say you got to get you wired for sound? Hold on.
Count 10,000 years old. Let's go. Hey, help.
No, it's okay. You got executive. Don't kill yourself.
I don't want them to play this song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go. Stop it.
I can't make out what she says.
Let's get this song on. This song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go.
You got executive. Don't kill yourself.
I don't want them to play this song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go.
It's hard to tell because they have her music playing. He's trying to calm her down. Hi, Miranda. 10,000 years old. Yes. Yep. I don't know why they're playing this song. It's 10,000 years old. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Hollow, good ears. Sounds like don't. Oh, he says something to her about don't kill yourself. Something about that. There's like a lot of conversations going on back and forth between them and the background music. A little intro, as he says. Hold on. And then you hear her as they get closer and closer. Turn it off. Why is she so mad? Hi from New Zealand. Hello. Yeah, she's super hot mess in this interview too. This is only a clip, but yeah, she's a mess. But guys, why is she so triggered by this song? Hi, Seymour Butts. You have to replay. We go through good stuff. But guys, this song, the song that we've been breaking down, the one that she keeps saying, I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. The song that Kristen put her lyrics on. That is crazy to me. I mean, that kind of makes your ears perk up a bit. Like, why is she so mad? All right, let me just play the whole clip so you guys get the full effect. It's very short.
Let me see. Let's see if it's okay.
It's bad. I mean, let's just pretend I'm gonna take credit. I'm coming. Help.
No, it's okay. You got executive. Don't kill yourself.
I don't want them to play this song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go. Stop it. Let's get this song on.
So mad. Get this song off. So those were the clips that I had, guys. It's very subtle. Do you want to watch them through? Do you want to watch them through without me pausing? They're only like 4 minutes long, and we can kind of get like the full grand scheme of her trying to push this psychic agenda if you want. Okay. Terry and CDT, thanks. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. Okay. Again, thank you guys for being here. This whole thing was only 4 minutes, these clips, but it takes me a long time to kind of find these and clip them together, but I enjoy doing it, which was what I was sort of talking about earlier. Is I really, if I'm passionate about a case, then I dig deep, and it's not really work to me. And I'm just so glad that you guys are here to kind of let me work out the things that are going through my mind when I see this all. It's like troubling, is the only word for it, because I really do think that for years she's just decided to use the media to push this narrative, to push this like, oh, I'm able to see things, and that's why, because then if anybody ever pointed out like, hey, did you ever notice that like your lyrics and like, just the title alone of Live Through This, that's sort of strange how that happened, like, but you see in her first interview with Kurt Loder, that was her opening topic. I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's like the interview just started. So you watch this whole thing play out for years and you're just like, wow, like she's just pushing this. And it's like obvious why she's got to keep this pushed in the spotlight, and has a lot to do with her guilty conscience and what she knows and her involvement. Oh, the documentary Kurt and Courtney. Actually, I don't know if you're in my true crime Facebook group. I just posted the link to it in there. You might be able to find it, but honestly, it's very hard to find for some reason. Probably Courtney's fault. Hold on. I can send the link in chat if you give me 1 second. I have a website that you can watch it on. And this came out in 98, I believe. Okay, hold on. Actually, Vicky, I got it right here. I'll if you want to click on the link and then wait, the live stream's almost over or whatever, or go watch it now or whoever. But hold on. The documentary is definitely worth a watch, as well as Soaked in Bleach, of course. And that's the link. Right, exactly. Hollow. She has pull, so Netflix used to have it on there. Suddenly they don't have it anymore. Okay.
And you are talking with the other guys now. David Grohl called you a blood-sucking vampire. Are you going to let him off the Are you going to let him off the hook for
What
that?
did I call?
Weary and didn't feel like
It was a terrible thing. Yeah, I mean, this great record comes out, and then all this.
Like, oh, I'm not
stuff comes
psychic,
around
but my lyrics are.
Yeah.
And now, it's, I mean, people go back to work.
Yeah.
This is what I do. I got to make a living, and I think I do a pretty good job at it. And I got to go back to work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I do.
Well, no one's going to hold this against you, I don't think. That you're right.
I think they do. I mean, I think that, it's expected that I should go close the drapes and shoot drugs or something for 5 years. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I have a baby. I have to make a living, and
Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to pause it, but I just noticed something. So she says people expect me to just close the drapes, and we know that she ends up saying shoot drugs. But she's just starts to like, hold on, I just got to hear that one more time.
Yeah.
I have a baby. I have to make a living, and drugs or something for that I should go close the drapes and shoot drugs.
So she says, shh, like she's gonna say shoot. And then she goes, shoot drugs. It just almost seemed like she wanted to say like shoot herself, but she knew that that was too much for the moment because, and again, this is just my opinion, my theory, just now noticing it. Let me just hear that again. I'm sorry, guys. It just seemed like she just kind of like switched up the sentence real quick because it was just too, because think about how Kurt died, okay?
Close the drapes and shoot drugs.
And maybe it's nothing. Thank you, CDT. Maybe it's not a slip, or maybe, maybe she is just, her mind's going to go to shoot drugs. But it almost seemed like she was going to say shoot herself. And then she was like, that's a little too extreme. Shoot drugs, shoot drugs. And I could be wrong, but to me, I mean, I've listened to this so many times and clipped it, guys. It really seemed like she was like trying to go down some road and then realized like, skirted and shoot drugs. Just my opinion.
Close the drapes and shoot drugs or something for 5 years. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I have a baby. I have to make a living, and it's the one time I feel really good.
Yeah.
Is the last couple. I've played 5 times now, and that's basically, other than certain times with my daughter, been the high points.
Sometimes, when you're toying with visuals or names or whatever, they sometimes can act as a lightning rod.
It's self-fulfilling in some people.
That might be another way of putting it, bad karma, good karma kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I had a relationship with somebody, and he wrote a song, and every time I hear that song, he wrote it before me, but every time I hear that damn song, I just think that's our relationship, and it like makes me cry, even though it was before me. Sometimes I write songs, and I won't know quite who or what they're about. They'll just be channeled or whatever you want to call it, and then a year down the line or something, and they're like, Jesus, this is applicable, isn't it? And I'm with you this, lyrically. If you look at like what happened in my life in the last year and a half, it's like, wow.
Just a week after Kurt's death, Hole's major label debut, Live Through This, was released to near universal praise.
The album is called Live Through This. How'd that happen? And the album's brilliant and important.
The songs were an eerie window into Courtney's now very public pain.
It's like I'm not psychic, but my lyrics are. It's very prescient because I'm really open and I allow like almost automatic writing to happen.
All right, we're ready to go.
Okay, I just get this snot off. Why is he playing a 9-year-old song?
Little intro.
I know. Hold on.
And I've got your orange juice.
I know, but snots makes me crazy.
Let me see if it's okay.
It's bad. I mean, let's just pretend. I'm gonna take breaks. I'm coming. Help.
No, it's okay. You got a second or two. Don't kill yourself.
I don't want them to play this song. I count 10,000 years old. Let's go. Stop coming. Just get this song on.
Really, Seth? Amber's so crazy. When I go home for lunch, always on my way back to work, they have Nirvana on, Come As You Are. That's epic. I hope you blast it. Is she grabbing staplers? I don't know what she's grabbing. Yeah, he was. And thank you, CDT, for the super sticker. The guy on it, just so cute. But, you know, I feel like I had to close it out with him holding Francis, because it just ultimately, to me, just comes down to the love he had for his daughter. And I just don't feel like he would have done that. Honest Rage said, I met Lane in 93 and he said he didn't like her. Really? So did Anthony Kiedis said that. You know, there's a lot of stuff about Lane's mother saying that Lane expressed to her that he never felt like Kurt did that to himself. Exactly. Honestly, I don't think he'd ever want to leave Francis with her. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be Kind said, same. His daughter was his most important reason for living. I 100% agree. Just doesn't add up. Hollow says, I feel like Lane was impacted by Kurt's death. Yeah, Seth. I mean it's like what they call a chemical romance. It was like they were reliant on each other with that kind of binding them. And what's sick is I feel like Courtney would keep him super sick, like more than her, you know, like she made it so that like she was always probably more sober and more coherent to what was going on. And she didn't want him to get well, I don't think. Because then, you know, if he got well and got better and, you know, started to see her for what she was and realized that he didn't need her for his habit anymore. Not that like he needed her for it, but like, I'm sure it made it all convenient. Yeah, the whole scene enabled each other. Yeah, it's sad. And that's what's like they said in Soaked in Bleach. I mean, if you're going to stage a murder, you know, you pick a junkie and it's just, I mean, I'm sure there's other murders that were staged as ODs and nobody has thought twice about it. I mean, case in point, that one with that woman that Crazy Crime Chick is covering that is in the news from that Bumble date. And they found drugs or whatever on the scene or something. But it seems very sketchy. But they're like trying to paint it as like an OD. I forgot the girl's name. It's terrible. Talk is that she was putting drugs in his food and drinks. I mean, I definitely think the Rome incident was the first attempt. And he was like, and he called that an accident, like with the champagne and all that. So, I mean, was somebody adding more roofie or whatever to the champagne more than he thought? I don't know. That's what happened at the end. He realized he didn't need her and he was going to leave her 100%. And you know what kind of solidifies that is the lyrics for You Know You're Right. The last written and composed work of art, you know, that is clearly a breakup song. You know? Yes, Rome, the date rape drug, that was hers. Right, it was prescribed to her or whatever. Yeah. And it was found in her room in Seattle. Yeah, she did stalk him. It's creepy. Sending him the heart-shaped box as a gift before they like ever even really knew each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Small town New York. I agree. All right. Well, I mean, that kind of concludes everything I was sort of laying out there, guys. I hope I was able to express, my suspicion for all these years of interviews, and Courtney kind of leading it as like, oh geez, I don't know how that happened, I must be psychic. And then that clip of her backstage on Howard Stern, which she was screaming like, turn the camera off or whatever. So triggered by that song playing. I think that that's very significant. But all right, I really think that that's pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate everyone being here. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't. And I will be working on more true crime, more Kurt, and whatever else comes along. And I really appreciate everyone. Thank you. Love your coverage. Thanks. Have a good night. Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll talk soon.